always the first few seconds, it's just me. Good morning, friends! If you're watching the replay, looks like no one's live yet. Instagram, I'm not able to put like a caption as to what we're talking about, so the title to this is I'm not an entrepreneur anymore, #awkward. Hey guys, it looks like people are joining on Instagram. I'll give a couple more seconds. Influential motherhood, where are you from? Hi, Jess. Okay, Facebook looks like some people are joining. I'm having my afternoon coffee. It's been one of those days. Okay, so today's live stream is really interesting. So I want to wait for a few more people to get on before we get started, because if people come in later, I feel like they might get confused. North Carolina, awesome. Okay, Facebook, can you guys see me and hear me? I could not get YouTube to work again, so I have Facebook over here and Instagram over here. Facebook, let me know if you guys can hear me. I can see that you're there, so somebody shout out. Okay, guys, we're gonna wait a couple more seconds. Happy Wednesday, hump day. How's everyone's week going? Jillian, okay. So I encourage you guys, so we're gonna keep talking about what we've been talking about lately. Thank you, Savannah. Hi, Linda. Okay, so guys, we are gonna keep talking about self-worth and identity. And if you're on Facebook, I'm sure you were like, what? I have to click on this because the title of the broadcast is I'm not an entrepreneur anymore, which is just like, wait, what? So I will explain that in a second. And get to that in a minute. But a lot of us guys have been having this self-worth issue. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Deborah. Tell me, hi, Chris. You guys tell me if, like, I would love to know things that you find yourself putting your self-worth into, right? Like the things I've talked about in the video. Hi, Carrie. Guys, on Facebook, I have Instagram over here. Instagram, I have Facebook over here. 2 cameras. I think y'all can handle it. Okay, having my afternoon coffee. Looks like we've got people from all over. You guys tell me where you're from. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. We're talking about self-worth and how we define ourselves, how we define our identity. And I would love for you guys to just tell me a little bit about where you happen to put your identity, like we've talked about. One of my videos was putting our identity in the season of life that we're in, and it's like suddenly, you know, motherhood maybe consumes somebody in Memphis. Awesome. Hi, Wendy. So we're talking about identity, and one of my videos talked about how we tend to totally identify with whatever season of life we're in. So we become a mom and motherhood takes over, or maybe you get a new job, or you switch to a new industry, or, you know, maybe you switch majors, or you start college. Or maybe you're sort of wandering around. Washington, awesome. Houston, hello. Indiana, awesome. I love it. Someone says they get their identity. Clothes and Curves, what's your name? Says, I get my identity in Jesus first. Amen. Me too. Larry, hello, good afternoon. Hey, Jason, good to see you. It's been a long time. So guys, what are some of the things you have found yourselves, Jill, good to know, putting your identity in? Like, have you found yourself putting your identity in motherhood, or maybe in working out? Like, you suddenly sort of go all in your new diet or new lifestyle. Maybe you find yourself joining a really tight-knit community and your identity gets wrapped up in that community. Hi, Abby. Jumping in head first as a leader. Hi, Laura. Bedra, Ahmad. Guys, I have Instagram over here and Facebook over here. So yeah, a lot of times people, Oklahoma, okay. That's where I'm from. I love to see Okies on my stream. Hi. Hi, friend. Yes, hello, everybody. I am having my afternoon coffee, and I did say good morning, friends, at the top of this broadcast. Yes, so Abby brings up a good point. My career as a flight attendant was a big part of my identity. And I know Abby well, so I saw her share this video, yesterday's video, and it was kind of the same thing, like, you become whatever your career is, and then there's these metrics that you're measured by. For flight attendants is like, well, who do you fly with, and how long have you been with them, and which airline, and all these kinds of things, right? Shell says she's gonna make some afternoon tea. I love it. Okay, guys, so Instagram, y'all need to chime in here on where you have put your identity, where maybe you shouldn't have. I think this happens a lot, especially with like young people, and we tend to put our identity in whatever our small group. I remember I was huge in my youth group at church, which is a great place, right? If you're gonna put your identity into something. Hey guys, on Instagram, welcome. We're talking about where we put our identity. Amanda says, my at-home business sort of becomes my identity because I love it and I know how hard work can set us up. Yes, that makes total sense. Leanne says she had her identity in her sickness, and then her mom, and motherhood is her identity. Deborah says, I have split identities. All of us have like split personality to some extent. Deborah says she's had a lot of her identity in her business. Shell says, a lot of my identity was in my kids and I forgot who I was aside from my kids. That happens a lot for moms. If on Instagram you're watching and maybe your identity is in your career, your identity is in your industry that you're in, you're super involved in that. So guys, one of the things that I mentioned in yesterday's video, which if you're keeping up on my video a day project, this counts as today's video because you guys don't have enough time to see the videos that I'm putting out. So I'm taking today off from posting and doing a live instead. Catherine says she's ditching her interior design identity. It was too small and it doesn't fit you anymore. Jill, right? No, is it Jill? Busy working mom, for better or worse. It energizes me, but I keep myself busy to maintain that identity. See, that's a self-fulfilling loop, right? That you're stuck in. Hi, Natasha, thanks for joining. So guys, yesterday's video, I talked about how like we have these standards that are put on us or that we try to live up to based on, based on our community that we're in, right? Whatever tribe you're in. So an example would be as an actor, you're valued kind of like, well, what roles have you gotten? Who was the producer? How big was the budget for that film? Hi, Shonda. As Shonda's a realtor, and maybe in realtor culture, it's like, oh, really? Well, how many houses have you sold? How much did they sell for? Well, how many new clients are you getting, or whatever the case may be. So whatever subculture you're in has these measuring sticks, okay? So I started this broadcast by saying, I'm not an entrepreneur anymore, #awkward. And I want to tell you guys about a time. I am not a crier, okay? I can feel myself getting emotional. Hi, Michelle, just thinking about this. I do not cry. I just don't. I haven't for a long time. Even when I'm really upset, crying is just not something I do. And in recent months, honestly, I had a like weeping episode, okay? Like weeping. I was weeping. And my poor husband was kind of like, because I never cry. Like, I just don't. He's probably seen me cry, full on cry, like 3 times. And we've been together since we were 16. And I was just weeping because I felt so worthless. Just so worthless. This is within the last few months. So I'm not telling you some throwback story before my talk show. I'm not telling you something about when my daughter was a newborn. I felt so worthless. Okay, hi Megan, good to see you. And I felt worthless because I just kept not getting to the standards of the communities that I'm in. And we talked about that in yesterday's video, and I had this epiphany. This is why it's so important that you put yourself in the community that fits who you really are. Because if you put yourself in a community that doesn't really match who you really are, you're never gonna feel valued. Obviously, yesterday's point, right, was that our value was, I haven't done the Enneagram test. I don't know. Hi, Starla. My point yesterday was that our value is in the fact that we are human beings, okay? The fact that we are created by a God who loves us for a purpose. I fully believe that 1,000%, okay? Totally. Hi, Chelsea, good to see you. But we are still going to have all these feelings attached with our tribe. So if you get yourself fully lodged in the wrong tribe, hi Colleen, you are going to perpetually feel behind and worthless and like you're not, like just like you're not ever going to make it. You're never going to live up to the expectation. You're never going to join or never going to like join rank, you know, and feel important. And do we need to figure out how to have our identity and other things? Yes. But what hit me was that if you are constantly feeling worthless, you're probably in the wrong community, right? Catherine says we put too many expectations on ourselves. Detaching from the outcome has saved my sanity. Yes, that is a wise thing. Hi, Colleen. Good to see you. It is very wise and evolved to totally detach from expectations. Guys, I want to stop right now and ask you to share this video because I think more people need to be talking about this. If you're just joining on Instagram, the title of today's video is I'm not an entrepreneur anymore, #awkward. I know some of you guys on Facebook are like, well, what does that mean? Tell us what that means. And I'm going to explain. Lisa, you're on a roll and still reading the comments. I am multitasking. Look at me. I'm a rock star. But hi, Eric. Thank you. So here's the thing. If you're constantly feeling, so let's get back to my weeping story, okay? I'm sitting there with my husband. We're in the car about to walk into a place. And I am just broken down, just at the bottom, like feeling like dirt, right? Because I felt like none of these people in this space see any value in me. And in the way that we all operate in this particular community, the sub-community that I was talking about, I couldn't really add value. I didn't have the strengths that they had. I didn't do the kind of things that they do. I didn't like the kind of things that they liked. Like I just felt like a freaking green alien with antennas coming out the top of my head. Have you guys ever been there? Right? And it took me a while in that community to realize, hey Jenna, it's not the replay, it's live. Hey girl, good to see you. When we are in a community, we may not realize it for a long time that like, you know what? I don't actually get these people and they don't get me. Hi Tommy, good to see you. Right? Sarah says, thank you Sarah for telling me your name. You've been there so often, right? Why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening that we keep, hi Susie, putting ourselves in these communities? I'm sorry if you guys can hear my Rottweiler outside losing his mind. It's probably the neighbor's gardener. He is a 90-pound Rottweiler. I could soundproof this room all day. You guys would still hear that to some extent. Thanks, Megan, for the, that's me. So the crying that I wanted to tell you guys about, hey, Russ, I was weeping in the car because I just felt like I am worthless in this group. This group will never get me. I will never measure up. I will never be able to add value, and they will never see my value until much later. They don't understand what I'm doing. They don't understand my passions, okay? So, hi, Abraham. Now, let's talk about entrepreneurship. Guys, I have identified as, I'm getting emotional already. Here it goes! But this is, somebody out here needs to hear this. Y'all watching on the replay, you let me know if this is impacting your life, okay? Because I've identified, it's like, I'm an entrepreneur, right? Here's the thing, I'm not. In my core, I'm not. I'm an artist. I'm an artist. I want to paint. I want to make music. I want to make people laugh. I don't want to look at metrics. I don't want to freaking just spend all my time growing the business and growing the downline and increase your prices. That's not me. And you know what else? Along the way, you'll hear all these things about real entrepreneurs and how they function. I was a great employee. I was a freaking rock star employee. I wasn't a rebel. I wasn't just like itching to go out and do my own thing. Thank you. I like so many of the things about entrepreneurship don't fit me. They really don't. I am entrepreneurial. I'm a go-getter. I'll work my face off for the vision that God has in me. But really, like, so then let's zoom out and look at what this means. Having this realization in my life, moving to LA, capital of artists. Everyone here gets me. Almost, like all of them, everybody is an artist. Everyone's working on something. Everyone has a passion project. Everyone owns a guitar. Everyone has a paint kit, like all of us. So moving to LA, that's one part of it. And then also, just like this video a day in May, you know what's been easy for me to make? Whatever really fits my heart, not tactical videos, not, you know, I've interviewed so many entrepreneurs, and I am an entrepreneur. I haven't taken a full-time job, if that's what you guys thought. I haven't quit. But the thing is that I actually don't identify that way. Entrepreneurs want, in the entrepreneurship circles, like they'll be like, well, have you hit 6 figures yet? Well, how big is this? Well, are you getting profit? How big is your revenue? And all this stuff that I'm like, I want to make people laugh. I want to change how people think. I want to make beautiful, life-altering, creative work. I have so many projects that are like my long-term things that I want to be working on that are not entrepreneurial. I mean, they are, because I'll be making it myself from scratch, and I'll have to find a way to fund it unless I were to take a job with like a BuzzFeed or one of those type places. Catherine says, I'm an inventor. See, this is great. This is great. Catherine says, I'm an inventor. And if she were to, now as an inventor, I'm guessing, Catherine, that you also have to be an entrepreneur, right? You're the one creating this thing, unless maybe you have a side gig as an inventor and you have a full-time job. But if you're all in on your being an inventor, you know, you probably have to do entrepreneurial things. You're running the business, you have to do marketing, you have to figure out some of the stuff to get the word out, get people out there. But at your core, when you're prioritizing, you only have 24 hours in the day. You only have so much that you can do. And if you're not prioritizing the soul stuff, guess what happens? You get your soul sucked right out by the thing that you created. Okay? So if you're not investing in the inventor part of you, doing the tasks that an inventor needs to do, working on what an inventor loves and what an inventor values, okay, then you're gonna start getting so burnt out and so bogged down, and you're probably like, that is not who you are. Heather says, I'm nervous that you're going to slush that coffee all over you. It could happen. You want me to put it down? I'm not drinking it anyway. Do you guys even get what I'm saying, or am I alone here? Because I hang out with all entrepreneurs for a long time, and I just felt, and that's another community, different from the husband sobbing one. That was a different community. But with the entrepreneurial community, I told one of my good friends, and I was like, hey, I feel worthless because I don't make 6 figures yet. Like, I just feel worthless because I don't have, she says she's been watching, Jill says she's been watching the coffee cup too. I put the coffee down, everybody, focus. I like doing the business side. So here's the thing, like, if you're trying to grow, I don't want someone to come in here and be like, yes, I don't have to be entrepreneurial. If you're trying to grow a side hustle, if you're trying to, as a creator, I have to be entrepreneurial. I have to figure out some of the things an entrepreneur has to figure out. But you know what? I'm not gonna keep trying to push myself to these entrepreneurial standards, Sarah. Because, and I'm not gonna hang out with them all the time because they make me feel like poop. Because it's just like, yeah, but what are you doing with your time? Like, why do you spend your time making funny videos? Because I'm an artist. Back up off me. Right? Why do you do the music videos? I don't understand. Because my soul says do music, and I'm going to freaking burn out on the big mission, you know, which is empowering people to actually change their lives, to dive into personal development, that we can become better people and be a mess at the same time, that personal development can be fun, that this doesn't have to be so heavy, right? All of that, that's my mission and vision, and I'm gonna get burnt out on that if there's no music. You guys understand what I'm saying? I didn't mean to leave. I didn't see that you left. Have an entrepreneurial spirit, but be an artist. Exactly. Do your own thing. Keep doing what you love because we love it too. And I think you guys saw, I was just thinking about this today, kind of a detail perfectionist, but how does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. I need you to say that again, Steph. Tommy says yes. Okay, so you guys are understanding what I'm saying? Like if we, and here's the thing, God made me so clearly an artist. so clearly a performer, a singer, a songwriter, a creator. My degree was in art. Did you guys even know that? That was my degree, was in art. Like my mother spent thousands and thousands of dollars for me to go to like charcoal drawing 101. It was one of my college classes, and 102 and 103 and 104. I am fabulous and refreshing. Oh, Colleen, stop telling me how great I am. Abby says, I love the clarity that comes with doing and trying and feeling it out. Exactly. But here's the thing, guys, is that we have to get quiet and figure out, how did God make me? Why am I feeling worthless? Why am I unhappy in here, in what I'm doing, right? And then I realized, like, what all these people in this community are going for and striving for and what they want is not the same thing as what I want, really. The vision, the end goal, where they want to go, how they want to have their day-to-day life is totally different than where I want to go. And it doesn't really line up with how God made me. Like, yes, I look at marketing spreadsheets now because I have to. I don't have a boss. I am my own business. So I have to do that. But hi, Messinisa. Right? I do those things because I have to. But I have finally, in the last few months, you guys have seen, just decided I'm a motivational comedian first. I'm an artist first. And guess what? Then I booked that Dave Ramsey speaking gig. Dave Ramsey and Christy Wright would not have hired me. I wouldn't be on their radar, okay? Because if it were like for a keynote, for example, like I'm going to teach a keynote about how to monetize a celebrity podcast, monetize a celebrity talk show, or grow your talk show, something like that, I would not, hi Brooke, I would not be on their radar if that's what I was going for. I got on their radar and booked that gig because I leaned into who I really am, right? And I hope you hear me saying, like, if you have a passion and you're trying to build it on your own, you have to be entrepreneurial, okay? You have to do best practices. You have to do some of those things. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Amy. But the thing is, when it comes down, we only get 24 hours in a day, and we only get we will get burnout if we're using all those hours, right? And if none of those hours, or if all of those hours are not in line with who we really are, we will for sure get burnout, and we will be freaking miserable. Hence the crying in the car story that I told at the beginning. My point is, it's okay, she says, to be a unique blend of labels. Yes. Rachel says, can I interview you for my podcast? This would be perfect. Sure, send me a DM. Heather, I let myself get bogged down in numbers last year and didn't love my business nearly as much. I'm back to doing what I love, leading my team, loving my customers, and I feel so much better. Exactly. So we can be entrepreneurial. We have to do entrepreneurial things. Like, you have to figure some of those things out. But someone who at their core identifies as a business owner and entrepreneur, they are structuring their day differently than me. And since I was hanging out with so many business owners and entrepreneurs, I felt like something was wrong. I felt like a loser. I felt like I didn't have value. I felt like I wasn't any, like, in the entrepreneurship world, like, people treat you differently once you can say 6 figures, or once you can talk about profit, or all these weird, which gets kind of gross if you think about it, but it's just the truth. And I'm not at that point, and I just felt like poop. And then I started hanging out with artists who get me, who totally understand what I'm going for and what the vision is in the long term. And they're not questioning my video in a day thing. They all get, okay, she's pushing herself to do a video every day. Some of them's going to be music, some of it's going to be funny. Like, the other artists get it. And they are not, when I hang out with them, I don't feel like a piece of poop. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday. Steven says, sometimes it's different to compartmentalize. Each part of you adds a different value to the whole. It seems that you have trouble focusing on the task at hand. No, I don't. Let your business pieces sort themselves out. When you focus there, simplify. You think you might be overthinking the situation. Well, what I'm talking about, and the reason I got on to talk about this at all, is because if I never got to this realization, hi, Justina, it's about the community that you're in, Stephen. You're making a good point, because I'm kind of rambling. And I want to go back to what we started talking about, which is that if you put yourself in a community where that doesn't actually line up with who you are in your heart, at your core, you're going to end up feeling like a loser. And you may not realize it until later. So that's where I wanted to explain to you guys, like, what we talked about in yesterday's video, or what I talked about, you guys left me some comments and messages and shared it, you know, was about we are not the measuring stick of our industry, which is why if you're going to be constantly living up to this measuring stick, which we do to some extent, we can't help ourselves. It's being human, right? Like we could say, detach from the outcome. That takes years of work, deep work within ourselves. So if we are going to be working through this, but still be attached to the outcome, find the right community where the outcomes are something that line up with who you are. I hope that makes sense. Yes, you must find your peeps. Exactly. Community matters. It really does. And, you know, Rachel, thanks for being so real and so vulnerable about this. I've struggled with this too and nearly fell into this trap. I think it creeps up on us. Because you might find someone that you're like, man, I really jive with this person, right? And then you may join whatever communities they're in, or if you're in an industry, like what if you get stuck in an industry that you do it well, you do the things well, but you don't love it? Then you've been in the industry 5 years, all of your network connections are in that industry, but you feel worthless, or you feel like you're never gonna get there because it's not your soul work, right? It doesn't really match who you are and your strengths. I spend most of my life finding stray hairs. I really do. It's just like itching me somewhere. Hi, Isabel. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about, because the reality is we're going to measure up ourselves, and we're going to be measured up by our community, our small group that we're in. So if you're in a small group that doesn't actually fit who you are, you're going to be depressed and feel miserable a lot of the time. Heather says you can change and grow and find your passion and figure out who you are. Yeah, as you change, yes, you change your community, which is what I did, exactly. Yeah, Tommy says it fits all aspects of life. You can be around many groups, right? But your primary group, and especially the group where you share, hi Jill, the group where you share your heart and you share your goals and you share your dream. Hi Angie, if you share, you know, those things with people who don't get you, and that's your only community, that's the only opinion you've got, that's the only feedback you've got, is like, we don't get that, and we think that's a bad idea, and we think you shouldn't spend your time doing that. Oh, well, I suck, right? That's powerful. All right, Justina. Tiffany says this was spot on. Okay, I hope it's helpful, because it is awkward for me to come on and be like, I've talked about entrepreneurship for 5 years, but I'm not really an entrepreneur. But really, in my heart, I'm an artist. I have to be entrepreneurial. I have to figure out entrepreneurial things. But I have been trying to shove down the artist in me for a long time, and just slowly over time, getting quiet, meditating on the word, spending time in prayer, spending time journaling, not just talking about journaling, but actually journaling, and eventually getting to the point they're like, this really is who I am. And I've got to surround myself, oh, Instagram cut out. I've got to surround myself with people who get this, because this is really me, right? Sorry, Instagram, I don't know what happened. All right, guys, well, I hope that this was helpful, because yesterday's video, a lot of people, I think, understand, oh, we're back, Instagram. The tough thing is when you feel like you don't fit but haven't truly figured out your passion. I totally get that, Angie, and I think that a great exercise would be the common thread exercise. We've talked about this before. You can Google Kelsey Humphreys common thread, and it will come up. And it's an exercise of going through what you loved as a child, what you loved as a teen, what you loved in your first job, what you love in your current job. What strengths did those things use? And you start to figure out what are the common threads. Yeah, a title does not define who we are. Rachel, that's funny. Catherine says, I get you. Thank you. And like, I know that a lot of you guys do, but in my day-to-day life, you know, I wasn't surrounding myself with people who get me. Yeah, thank you, Tommy. Have a great afternoon. So that's what I wanted to tell you, is that it was just like an epiphany I had that I hope I articulated in this live stream, that if you're not in the right community, you're always going to feel like you don't measure up, because that community doesn't line up with what you want to be doing and your strengths. All right, guys, I thank you. If you just joined, go ahead and watch the replay and listen to my stories of sort of evolving on who I am and who I feel like God made me to be, and actually being that instead of trying to be a million other things or feeling like I should be another thing, etc., etc. So I love you guys, and I know that you guys love and support me, so don't feel like you need to send me messages of like, you do you or whatever, because you guys get me. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that my communities in real life, the people who were like my accountability buddies and people that I shared things with and people that I, you know, hung out with and did networking events and all that, they didn't get me. And so that's what I wanted to share with you all. And I hope that you take this to heart on finding your community that fits who God designed you to be. So you're not always trying to do like square peg, round hole. All right. You're welcome, Ashley. Thank you, Shell, for commenting and watching. If you did find this valuable, I would love if you guys share it. So, and then tomorrow morning, I will be back with another funny video. I got pissed off and I ranted about something, and you guys are going to love it. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Oh, what's happening? Now you guys get to watch me end this. Bye. Share this video. Okay, ending on Instagram. And Angie, yes, I don't think very many people talk about this, so I hope you share it. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.